characters, incidents, names, and situations used in this story are fictitious. The resemblance to any person living or dead is purely coincidental. The following video contains some horror elements and suitable for a mature audience, 16 plus. This channel and video is not for kids. Hello friends, I am Arian, and welcome to our channel, Midnight Horror Stories, where you get to hear true and scary ghost stories. But before starting the story, all the friends who have come to this channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the story, then definitely introduce yourself in the comment section. Then let's do not take much time and start our story quickly. Today I have brought a very horrific incident related to a real accident in front of you and have shared this incident with us. A man who has seen this whole incident in front of his eyes. He even tried his best to save that friend, but despite doing everything, he is living in great regret today. So this incident took place in the place of Raman. Rajasthan is a town in the middle of the Aravalli Hills. This is the incident there, and the man who accompanied us. The story has been shared. His name is Ratan Singh Raman Puth. And as he told us, he went for a walk with some of his friends, and there is a lake on a short distance of his own city. If there is a high mound there, then there is a very beautiful scene. And because there are Aravalli Hills around, there is a very pleasant atmosphere there. But the place where he went to visit, many things were told that it was a haunted place. There is a lake whose water is very cursed. There's some awesome NTT over there, resides. But when these people were very modern and had very passionate blood in them, they felt that no such thing existed. People are not able to reach such a place only on their own, so they keep such rumors to dissuade others from going too. So these four friends decided to bypass all these things and go to that place and reach there. But he hardly stayed there for a short time when the incident that started with him came out of there immediately. Now they felt that he had to get out of there immediately. There is nothing wrong with them, but they didn't even realize that they had a terrible NTT, and by the time they realized it, everything had gone out of their hands. Friends, I want you to hear this incident in the words of Ratan Singh Raman Puth only. Hello friends, Bilaspur, a small town situated between the hills of Aravalli in remote Raman place, whose beauty is seen. It is formed. It's a different historical world there. There are many stories associated with this city. One of those stories is the story of the Ruhani Lake here, which is about 4 kilometers away from the city in the forest. There are many stories about this lake. It is said that here a loving couple was killed by drowning in the lake alive. That was about 50 to 60 years ago. Well, that's a matter of stories. Who pays attention to them? Just thinking of this, we 4 friends, Sanjay, Raman, Raju, and I, had a picnic at Ratan Singh Raman Puth Lake. They started making plans to celebrate. Sunday was decided. At around 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, the 4 of us set out in my hunting jeep. We even bought a football with us. I also packed some snacks from the market and took it along. We also bought bottles of chilled beer for a drink, and now we went out in the mood for full fun. We reached the lake around 4 o'clock, singing and smiling and having fun towards the lake. The mountains on one side and the forest on the other, and the clouds scattered in the sky on it. All these together were adding to the beauty of the lake. Wow, what a beautiful sight it was. We were all stunned by the beauty of that lake. Then Raju said what a lovely place it is, and people do not know why it is called wretched. It's the right thing to listen to. I agreed with him as he spoke. As soon as we heard the praise of that lake from both of our mouths, Raman looked at us with suspicious eyes and said, "But man, you do not find it strange to you, and there is no bird here. Completely deserted, completely lifeless," he said. Then we all laughed at him and said, "All ran away after hearing the news of your arrival." She was absolutely right, but we did not pay any attention to her. We walked along the lake for a while, then sat down to have breakfast under a tree. Then Sanjay said, "I will go to the lake and wash my hands and mouth." And he went to the lake. He had just taken the water in his hand when he heard the sound of someone's anklet. But there was no girl with us. In such a situation, when he looked around, he did not see anyone far away. So he ignored that voice and avoided it. As soon as he came fresh, he told us all about it. When he told us, we all burst out laughing, mocking him. We were still having breakfast when we felt a tall man running quickly past us. The 4 of us saw this, and we were shocked to see it because there was no one there except us. So what was it that we saw? Was it just a deception in our eyes? Because the whole area was completely deserted. But still, we ignored that sentence and started enjoying the beer. At that very moment, we heard a girl with a religious name. She was calling loudly to the boy, Dharma Dharam Dharam. His voice was getting louder intermittently, or rather the wind was echoing all around. This was really surprising to us. Hearing that voice, we all immediately stood up and went in the direction of the voice and were once again shocked. The sound was coming from inside the water in the middle of the lake. Seeing this thing, our condition worsened. Now we all understood very well that there was definitely something here. But didn't he understand it? Is that loving couple right? Nope. Anyway, now we thought it best to get out of there. And while saying the same thing to my friends, I said, Yar Raju Raman Sanjay Yar, I think we should get out of here soon. Anything can happen here. As soon as they heard me, they all agreed because almost all of us had realized the presence of some unseen force present there. That's why we quickly ran to the Jeep with our luggage. But what is this? All 4 tires of the Jeep were punctured. Now even our own air was tight, because how can you get through this haunted place without a Jeep? Turned out, after all, the city was 4 kilometers away. While we were all thinking about this, Pyle's voice started getting louder. It seemed like a girl was running towards us very fast. We were all sweating with fear. Our breath was caught in our circles when we saw a man and a country girl standing on the bank of the lake, shouting loudly, "Bachao, bachao." And in a short time, both of them jumped into the same lake in front of our eyes and disappeared somewhere. After seeing all this, we decided to run away on foot. We understood and ran away from there with our feet on our heads as if a mad buffalo had fallen behind us. On that day, we ran rough and supported each other, somehow saved our lives and reached the city. I also ordered the car from the towing people 2 days later. My friend Raman left Bilaspur after the incident. Sanjay was suffering from fever and dysentery for 2 whole weeks. Now we did not understand that the 4 of us went to the lake. Then how did Sanjay's health become so bad that he is not taking the name of recovery? Eventually, his parents took him to Jaipur, and he was treated at SMS hospital. Then his health improved slightly, and he was admitted there for about 15 days. After that, he was discharged and came home. Then Raju and I went to meet him at his house. When the 3 of us were alone in the room, Sanjay told us that he saw the rustic girl and the boy in his dreams every day, and when he was awake and alone, he saw a very terrible black shadow that had no end, no shape, just in the air around his axis, adjacent to the ceiling. Long hair like snakes is seen waving, and at the same time its dark red eyes are seen neither face nor hands nor feet, and nothing is visible. Just what you see is a black, terrible tornado that comes out of the ground and looks tall to the roof. It is so black, so much smoke, and so scary that it even comes out of its urine in fear at the sight of it. Every time, anywhere, anytime, when Raju and I heard all these things from his mouth, we too became worse due to fear and panic. Expressing in words the same fear in his mind, my friend Raju turned to him. Looking at him with frightened eyes, he said, "Hey man, Sanjay admitted that you are ill, but it does not mean that you should scare both of us by doing such strange things and hold the bed like yourself. I will joke with people, and that is not like that, friend. This is not a joke. It's true, and maybe that's what I've been through." We were both stunned to hear his words. We didn't understand what he was all about. He was either true or true, for it was true that the rustic boy and girl we saw on the lake that day were both in our dreams. But Sanjay's black shadow was beyond our comprehension because we had not seen anything like this. So we thought it was all because his health had deteriorated since that incident. In such a situation, it is normal for the mind to think such things. Thinking of all this, we both left from there. Both of us had ignored Sanjay's words, but somewhere, even in our minds, that thing of his black shadow had instilled fear in our minds. We both couldn't take our attention away from his dark shadow. Still, we were trying to normalize things. We thought that with the passage of time, things would become completely normal with all of us. If Sanjay has also recovered now, he will not see such things. But it was all just our thinking. Nothing of the sort actually happened. We thought that Sanjay's health has recovered, and now he will be normal in a few days. But that's it. It didn't happen. Sanjay's condition was deteriorating day by day. His body was beginning to decompose on its own. His hands and feet had started to form very strange wounds, and his skin was also swelling and leaving on its own. like it happens by constant contact with water. In the same way, due to this strange disease, he had also lost his job, and his behavior was becoming very strange at home too. In such a situation, his parents came under a lot of tension about him. They could not understand what was happening with Sanjay. Seeing Sanjay's antics, things were starting to look absurd. In such a situation, he called me and Raju to his house. When we reached Sanjay's house and met him, Raju and I were blown away by his condition. In the last 15 days when he was brought home from the hospital, there was a difference between the health of Sanjay and the Sanjay who was lying on the bed in front of us. Sanjay's parents said that his mental balance has completely deteriorated. He neither eats nor sleeps properly. There's always something murmuring, "I don't drink water," because of which he also has a problem with dehydration. I'm very scared when I see the water. In fact, starts screaming. We also took him to a psychiatrist. They also gave him medicines, but they also had no effect on him. In fact, his health deteriorated further, and the situation is in front of you. The strange reaction on her skin and that dirty smell from above is not understanding what is happening to her. Anytime, anywhere, at any time, he suddenly starts to feel breathless. Sweat starts dripping from the forehead. Teeth begin to clench, and one of the particulates pointing to the place, his urine comes out. At that moment, it seems that he wants to say something. He wants to tell us something, but despite his best efforts, his voice does not come out of the circle. He just tries to show us something by pointing his hand in one direction in front of him. But we don't see anything and don't understand what he wants to tell us. How can a person be afraid of water? Now you tell me, son Ratan, what should we do? In the old age when the sun was given to us, we had to take care of it. We are taking care of it in that old age. Sanjay's parents wept as he said like a small child. Seeing them crying like this, Raju and I took care of them. We were both trying to console him. After crying like this for a while, wiping his tears, Sanjay's father looked at me and Raju and said, "No, son, all this cannot happen on its own. Something has definitely happened. Son, tell me the truth. What has happened that such a promising son of mine is suddenly doing such crazy things, and his health is deteriorating day by day? They are leaving. If there's anything to do, please tell us, son, before it's too late for our son to be gone. Let me tell you, if you both know anything about this, let us know." Now, neither of us knew anything about it exactly. All we knew was that it all started the day we went to that wretched lake for a picnic, but now I did not understand how to tell this to Sanjay's father. Firstly, how they will react to hearing this, and secondly, whether they will react to such a thing, whether you believe it or not, because before going to that lake, we all used to laugh off such paranormal things. But then there was the thought in my mind that if I don't tell them anything, a lot will happen. So unwillingly, I told him about all the paranormal events that happened on that lake in front of him, and also told that since that day, one of our friends, Raman, was so scared that he left us in this city forever and went somewhere forever. And after that day, he also appears in the country boy and girl in his dream. And the same thing happens with Sanjay. I also told him what Sanjay had told me after coming back from the hospital. After hearing all those things from my mouth, Sanjay's parents' mouth remained open. The mixed expressions of surprise and fear were clearly visible on their faces. Looking at their faces, it seemed as if they wanted to say a lot to both of us, but they were not able to decide what to say, in what words. When I gave them, told that Sanjay sees a long black shadow which has no end, no head and no legs, then a black big axis surrounded by smoke, then the ground had come out from under the feet of Sanjay's parents. "What are you saying, Ratan? Why didn't you tell me this before?" As soon as I heard his question, before I could speak, my friend Raju said, "How do you tell Uncle?" "How to tell you? We have to." I didn't know if what was happening to us was real or just us, because seeing that dreadful incident, we were all very scared to live it, and we came running on foot for about 4 kilometers from there. You think what would have been the condition of our hearts and minds at that time? At that time, we were all so scared that our friend Raman left the city. He has cut off all contact with us. Hey Ratan, he had ordered his Jeep from there after 2 days, and even more since that dreadful incident, we're starting to have those horrible dreams too. But we have not yet been able to decide whether what we are seeing as dreams is just our fear or something else. Hearing Raju's words, the uncle was also shocked. Then looking at Sanjay's father, I said, "Yes, Uncle Raju is absolutely right. Until now, we have been treating all these things as our own." When Sanjay also told us about his dream, our mind was shaken a little because all three of us were having the same dream. In fact, this cannot happen at the same time. Three people have the same dream. There is no change in it. And secondly, when Sanjay told us about that black shadow, we could not understand at all what is that black shadow. Sanjay's voice or something else, because we have never seen any such shadow till date, Uncle. We had never seen such a black shadow on the lake or in our dreams. Sanjay's parents were terrified after hearing both of us. Perhaps he had understood what both of us, Raju and I, were still fine. I couldn't understand it in a way. Explaining the same thing to us, he said, "No, son, it cannot be your fault, and seeing the way Sanjay's condition has happened, it seems certain that the matter is something else. I think we should contact someone who knows all these things and deals with them." Reacting immediately to this, Raju said, "But uncle, we don't know any person who deals with these things." On hearing this, Sanjay's father said, "I know someone. He is my friend's son. Sohan Singh, Ramanput, Ratan maybe. Maybe you know him. He does research on paranormal activities. He can definitely help us in all of this." As soon as I heard him, I spoke immediately. "No, uncle, I don't know any Sohan Singh Rajput. But if that's the case, uncle, then what's the delay? Call your friend's son. We want to meet him too. What has been happening with both of us in the past, and what has happened and is happening with Sanjay? What the hell is that? At least let us know. You know what the hell is in these things? Why are they happening to us?" As soon as I heard this, Sanjay's father called his friend and contacted Sohan after getting his son's contact number. He told Sohan everything on the phone. Sohan couldn't help but be surprised to hear them and agreed to meet us the same day. It was decided between Sohan and us that he would meet at Sanjay's house, where he would talk to us and see Sanjay too. So we stayed at Sanjay's house that day. By noon, Sohan was on his team. He came to Sanjay's house. His team also included his friend Kamlesh and a psychic medium, Shambhu. Let me tell you here that the psychic medium is that which acts as a connection between this world and that world. It's like a bridge between two different worlds. In Sohan's team, this work was done by his friend Shambhu, who was the most important part of his team. As soon as Sohan and his team arrived, they first had a little conversation with Sanjay's father, and then went straight to Sanjay's room to observe him. Me and Raju also mean all four of them. Sanjay's father and Sohan's team were followed to his room, where Sanjay was lying upside down on the ground instead of the bed, and was hitting the ground loudly with a fist with one hand, because of which his fingers were fractured and blood was also coming out of them. When his father saw all this, he was blown away, and he immediately rushed towards him to stop Sanjay from doing all this, and as soon as he reached out his hand and tried to stop him by holding his hand, Sanjay fell face down in the same situation with the same hand, slammed them away with a loud jerk, due to which they became unbalanced and fell to the ground with a jerk a little away. Seeing this, we were all terrified. Raju and I went and took care of them. Picking him up, we said, "Uncle, get up. Take care of yourself." Sohan and his team were observing Sanjay at that time. Raju and I were also looking at Sanjay with great surprise because he was not making any difference. He had knocked his father down, but he was still banging his fist the floor. He would have done these things. See, Sohan was silent for a while and was just observing him. His friend Kamlesh was recording his actions, and his third friend Shambhu had completely changed his facial expressions. Sweat was dripping from his forehead. There was a look of uneasiness on his face and a look of worry on his forehead. Looking at him, it seemed that he was feeling very thirsty and his throat was dry. Seeing this, I picked up a bottle of water kept there and offered it to him. Seeing that bottle, Shambhu's eyes were wide open. At that moment, his face was like this. It was as if he had seen a bottle of water for the first time in his life. Seeing this expression on his face, I was completely surprised, and in this sequence, looking at him, I said, "What happened? Why are you staring at the water bottle like this?" After hearing my question, he looked at me one glance but did not answer my question, and the next moment he turned his eyes away from my face and his friends Sohan and Kamlesh. The three of them were looking at each other as if they were talking to each other in their eyes. All three of them. The three of us, my friend Raju and Sanjay's father, were also looking at each other with surprised eyes. Then Sohan and his friend Shambhu quietly left the room. His third friend Kamlesh also left the room. Seeing this act of the three of them, the three of us could not understand anything. Still, the three of us followed the three of us out of the room. As soon as we came out, Sohan put us in his car and brought us a little away from there. Sanjay's father also asked him that after all, he was us. Where is it going? But he didn't tell us anything about it. He just said that he had something important to talk to us. We had come about 1.5 to 2 kilometers away from Sanjay's house. Sohan then stopped his car after seeing an open, quiet place. After that, he looked at his friend Shambhu and asked him, "Is there anyone else still present with us, Shambhu?" Responding to him, Shambhu took turns to look at all of us and then closed his eyes. The three of us really didn't understand anything. That's what they were doing. The three of us were just looking at the three of them with astonished eyes and were surprised ourselves. Because all these things were completely new and surprising to us. Shambhu was walking around with his eyes closed for a long time. Sohan and Kamlesh were looking at him intently. It was as if they were waiting for him to say something. The three of us were also looking at the three of us with astonished eyes. After Shambhu looked around, he looked at Sohan with very old eyes. He said in serious words, "All is well here, Sohan. We can talk here." As soon as he heard this word from his mouth, Sohan looked at him and said, "Then tell me what is happening with Shambhu Sanjay. After all, what energy is associated with him that has completely rotten a living person? His body is starting to stink. After all, what demonic power has joined him who has made such a plight of him?" As soon as he heard Sohan's question, Shambhu looked at him and said, "I don't know, Sohan. So far I have understood only this much. It is that there is a very strong and powerful energy with him, which has completely subdued him. She possesses him whenever she wants and scares him by bringing him to his senses whenever she wants. She wants to disturb him mentally. Sohan, man, the demonic power associated with him is a very terrifying and demonic force. When she comes out of his body and scares him, the fear is so intense that Sanjay's mind has no control over his body. He even urinates in fear. Anytime and anywhere. Whoever that energy is, she wants to do all these things and take it away from people, so that he can cut it from the whole world and take it with him." Hearing Shambhu's words, Sanjay's father was very scared, and looking at Sohan, he said, "Sohan, son Sanjay is my only son. Please save his life. Do anything but save him, son. Apart from him, there is no one in this world. It's not just our support." On hearing Sanjay's father's words, Sohan comforted him and said, "Don't worry, uncle. We are putting our lives on the line. We're going to get you out of this mess." Then he looked at Shambhu and said, "Shambhu, can you tell me anything more about what that energy is? How's that? Anything that lets us know what we need to work towards." On hearing this, Shambhu thought about something and said, "I cannot tell for sure, Sohan, but I think whatever energy it is related to water. Because I saw only water in my meditation. It's like a big pond or a river." As soon as I heard Shambhu's words, I immediately spoke Had. "Yes, you are fine, Shambhu. That energy is related to water. Actually, a month ago, we went to that spiritual lake, 4 kilometers away from the city. The lake which is very famous for its mysterious things. A lot of unavoidable things also happened to us there." As I spoke, I narrated to Sanjay's father Shambhu, Sohan, and Kamlesh all the strange incidents that happened to us that day. Sanjay's father scolded me and said, "You should have told us all these things a long time ago. Ratan, if you did that, if I had, my son would not have been in this condition today. You told me all this when I scratched and asked you about it." Saying this, he folded his hands in front of us and looked at us and Raju and said, "If there is still something that you are not telling us or are hesitant to tell, then please tell everything so that my son can get rid of all these things." Seeing him reacting like this, I told him, "Please, uncle, please don't misunderstand us. But the truth is, what do we tell you? When we told ourselves, we didn't know anything. Nothing like that happened to us. We are only haunted by that nightmare." We also spoke to Raman about it. He had the same dream. Nothing else happened to the three of us. But I don't know why all this is happening to Sanjay, and now he is not even in a condition to tell us anything about it. Listen to me." Sohan looked at me and said, "What name did you tell the man whose name was called by that rustic girl?" I said, "Religion is very serious." Looking sternly at his voice, Sohan said, "We have to summon the soul of this religion. Only then will the curtain rise on this Raman." As soon as he heard this, our father, me, Raju and Sanjay's father lost their seats. On the other hand, Sohan's friends Shambhu and Kamlesh were agreeing to him after listening to him with great patience. The three of them decided to summon the spirit of religion in the same secluded place. For this purpose, they used the Ouija board to summon the spirit of religion in the same place. Those all three of us were sitting in a circle, shaking hands with each other, and Sohan gave us a strict warning that no matter what happened, but we don't have to let go of our hands because the most important in this process is the circle which is man-made. The accumulated energy of many human beings protects each other from the incoming demonic energy. On Sohan's call, suddenly there was a very strong wind. The area was an open field, where dry leaves and dust were scattered, just because of the dust in that area due to such a strong wind. Large tornadoes began to rise and the dry leaves began to touch the heights of the sky, making a rustling sound. Raju and Sanjay's father were watching all this for the first time. It looked like there was a very strong thunderstorm. But how can a sudden thunderstorm come? This was both intimidating and frightening to all three of us. But then suddenly everything became normal and Uza started moving on board. Seeing this, Sohan started asking his questions. "Are you a religion that resides on a spiritual lake?" As soon as he heard Sohan's question, Uza placed the cowrie on the board on his own. The movie started happening on the written words and went straight to the bottom of the yes column. When it was confirmed that the soul was of religion, Sohan asked him his next question. "Is there any other entity here with you?" As soon as Sohan heard Sohan's next question, Uza started moving on the board again, and the spirit answered, "No." With the help of some words, numbers, and alphabets written on that wooden board, that spirit was doing adjectives with us. The cowrie was moving on its own. The three of us were very surprised to see this. But Sohan, he was constantly being asked his questions. When the spirit had answered both his questions, Sohan asked him his next question. "Have you possessed Sanjay?" As soon as Sohan heard Sohan's question, the cowrie stopped under the column of no, moving on the board once again. On receiving this answer from the soul of Dharma, Sohan questioned again with great surprise, saying, "You are lying. If you did not do it, then who did it that day? You and a rustic girl with you. Maybe she is also a soul like you. Both of you." Sanjay, Raman, Ratan, and Raju were seen listening to Sohan on that spiritual lake once again, and the cowrie went and stopped under Yasha's column and then started making sentences using code alphabets. Through that Ouija board, the spirit of Dharma answered Sohan's questions, telling us that with him there is another spirit residing on that lake, which is his beloved. But neither he nor his girlfriend have possessed Sanjay. He and his girlfriend just wanted to make them all feel their presence and drive them away because he was found by a great fierce water vampire on the lake. There is also the habitat of the living entity, which does not allow any creature to flourish there. No bird has ever crossed that lake alive. When Sohan heard all the answers of Dharma's soul, the whole thing became clear to him automatically, and he asked the soul of Dharma, while asking his next question, "But why did you and your girlfriend want to run away from these people? And secondly, if both of you just wanted to save them, then why did you both not give up on all these till now? Why every night?" They would come in dreams and make their presence felt. As soon as he heard his question, the cowrie on that Ouija board started making sentences again by moving at a fast pace. This time, responding through that Ouija board, the spirit told that he and his girlfriend alert every person who comes to that lake and make their presence felt so that the person can leave the place as soon as possible after getting their feeling. Because if a person accidentally touches the water of that lake, then he will be caught in the hands of that water vampire, and then it is almost impossible for him to escape. The same thing happened with Sanjay. He took the water of that lake. He touched it, and the water plunged through his follicles into his body. Now he lives in Sanjay's Rome. He will not leave Sanjay's body until he takes his life. The spirit of Dharma lifted the curtain of all the mystery and said, "As soon as I got this answer through that Ouija board, my and Raju's foreheads were shaken, because both of us knew that Sanjay had gone to that lake and washed his face and hands and feet to freshen up. None of the other three of us had even touched the water of that lake. And that was just one of the reasons why the three of us, he escaped the hands of the water vampire. But Sanjay fell prey to him. And when the spirit of Dharma also told us through the Ouija board, when the whole thing was clear, Sohan gave the command to the soul of Dharma to go back and ended that cycle of the Ouija board. Now everything was clear in front of all of us. There was no doubt in our minds because everything that had happened before our eyes. And the spirit of Dharma had told him everything through the Ouija board that had happened to us that day, so there was no room for doubt. We had full faith in Sohan and his team. After the soul of religion left, Sohan asked Shambhu, "Sobhat Shambhu, now you tell us what we should do. Water vampire is a very big demonic power. It is not possible for us to fight it, especially when it enters the human body. After that, it is almost impossible to separate it from that person's body." Hearing this, Shambhu immediately replied, "You are absolutely right, Sohan. We can't cope with that energy. For this job, we have to choose someone who deals with this kind of energy. We can't face that water vampire. And the most important thing is that what we have to do it very quickly, because that water vampire is living in Sanjay's body and constantly watering his blood, throttling his limbs. We don't have much time, Sohan." Sanjay's father looked at the three of them and said, "But where will we find such a person? I don't have much faith in exorcists, tantrics, fakirs, babas, etc. More than half of them are imposters." Raju and I also liked what he said. But if there is no exorcist, tantric, fakir, baba, then who? Who was there to help us in this work? We were just discussing all these things when Sanjay's father got a call from his mother on his phone. She was very nervous and was asking Sanjay's father to come home as soon as possible. When Sanjay's father heard his voice, he himself got very nervous and he asked us to go home as soon as possible. We also immediately returned to Sanjay's house in Sohan's car, but we were not able to reach home. It took a while. By then, there was a queue of people outside the house. Seeing so many people there, we all got heartbroken. We all knew that something was wrong inside. But didn't we know that? But now even taking a step forward inside the house was as heavy for us as walking on a mountain. We were looking around at the people and asking them what was the matter. But people were rolling their eyes as soon as they met us. In such a situation, we understood that we would not know anything without going inside, and we all went inside as soon as possible. Run. The sight we saw there was as terrifying as it was unbelievable. We saw that the door of Sanjay's room was blown out and the door was open. His mother, sitting on the floor, is crying loudly. Seeing all this, we all came to a halt. We knew very well that something untoward had happened. We all walked towards Sanjay's room with a frightened step. I may fall short of words to describe what we all saw as soon as Sanjay reached the room. Before that day, we had such a horrible scene. None of the people had ever seen it. Sohan and his team didn't either. Actually, the entire room was filled with water, and Sanjay's body was hanging from the ceiling fan on the ceiling. It was as if he had set out on a long journey, dressed in brand new clothes, applying perfume with very strong fragrances, making good hair, wearing a tie, watching new shoes. He committed suicide in a very strange way. Seeing his condition and seeing the manner of his suicide, everyone present there was surprised. The police also do this. I was completely surprised to see the whole thing. People had mistaken all these things for Sanjay's state of mind, but what the truth was, we all knew now. Seeing him hanging from the fan like this, his father's condition worsened. While on the one hand they were trying to save him, and by the time the truth came out to them, it was too late. Or rather, the energy that was associated with Sanjay was the smartest, faster. Before we could find someone who could help us deal with it. That entity has eliminated that medium, while Sohan and Shambhu did not talk about this at that house. Even in that open area, full precaution was taken before talking about it. But despite this, the water vampire had probably already sensed the intention of those people, and he had also prepared Sanjay to take his own life in a very strange way. The most strange among all these things was the water spilled in that room, because that water was not full of taps. The water was salty and mossy like the water of a lake or pond. There was dust and dirt too. On that dreadful journey to that spiritual lake, we ate two of our friends. One who, despite being alive, was forever away from us and the other who took his own life after suffering for a month. Strangely, after that incident, we understood that we should never live things about which we know nothing, or something that's beyond our control. We already knew a lot about the lake, but ignoring all those things, we made that stupid plan to go to that ghost lake, and what would be the cost of it? It's in front of you guys. But there was a very interesting thing hidden in all this. When Sanjay's autopsy report came, the police, as well as all of us who were associated with him, were surprised because Sanjay's body was taken down from the ceiling fan in front of our eyes, and despite the water in the whole room, his clothes were completely dry. But despite this, in his autopsy report, the cause of his death was not suffocation, but water filling in the lungs, meaning his death was due to pipe damage. It was due to not drowning. This shocked all of us. We were all just thinking, how could this happen? Because even if we assumed that he died due to drowning in the water filled in the room, his clothes should have been dirty and wet. But there was no such thing at the time of his death. Second, if he drowned, who hung his body from the ceiling fan? Because there was only one door to his room, which was locked from inside at the time of his death. People had broken the swivel and reached inside his room, and the second window from which his mother had seen him hanging from the fan, and there was a hard iron grill on it, from which it was not possible for any person to get out. This meant that no one went inside his room from outside that day. On hearing the screams of Sanjay's mother, people from the neighborhood rushed to the spot and broke open the door of the room and reached his room. In such a situation, Sanjay's death became a mystery for everyone. No one knows what happened to him in that room that day. The Sanjay who was scared at the sight of water. There was screaming and screaming. I was afraid to even drink water. Where did all that water come from in his room? Why did he take his own life so decorating? Did he know in advance that he was going on a never-ending long journey? And the biggest question is whether he died by hanging from the ceiling fan or drowning in the water. Sanjay's death under mysterious circumstances left behind many questions that have remained the same even in the last 5 years. We have only one answer to these questions, which is what Sohan's team faced that day. Through that Ouija board, the spirit of religion that dwelled on that spiritual lake told us, and that was the water vampire. Friends, now you must have realized why I often tell you that there are many places in our ramen place where a lot of horror things happen, because the former people believe in these things. But today's people ignore all these things. And here too, these 4 friends made the biggest mistake. If they believed that something like this could happen there, then perhaps their 2 friends could never separate it were. But a friend who left the whole city without informing and never contacted him. Now it is not known whether he is also alive or not, or something has happened to him as perhaps has happened to him, and there was another friend whom he could not escape even after trying his best to save, but he could not even know the whole thing. Before that, the water vampire destroyed him. Do good research about it, and yes, if the elders say something, then they should also accept their words. I'm not saying you should believe in superstitions. Look at everything well, but there are some things that you should take for granted, because we don't know everything about this world. There are many powers that are beyond our comprehension. I hope you understand well. So friends, this was our story today. Do tell us how you liked the story by commenting. And those who have not yet subscribed to the channel must subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and your family. I, your friend, will meet you soon with a new story. Thank you.